Me, my children, and my family, I can describe the feeling that I'm feeling.
Proud?
Very proud of my father.
Now, emotion was not limited to the responses of the inmates' families. 2 moving speeches were delivered during the ceremony by members of the graduating class. One was class spokesperson Reynaldo Brown. Since 1983, Reynaldo has been serving 27 to life for second-degree murder. In his youth, he thought education was for people who were afraid of the street. He dropped out of high school and was functionally illiterate. While incarcerated at Sing Sing, he earned a GED, an associate's degree, and this month, his bachelor's. He spoke to the crowd about what his life was like before his education.
I went down south one time to Lynchburg, Virginia, and I got into an argument with a lady in the store, and the sheriff wanted to lock me up. So I called my mother, and my mother sent a check down there, and I had to sign the check, and I couldn't sign the check, so I messed it up. And I had to walk around down there until I got somebody to cash the check for me, so I could get back to New York.
But perhaps the most moving speech at Sing Sing's graduation day was delivered by this year's valedictorian, Zaid Ali. Serving 10 to 20 for first-degree manslaughter, the Poughkeepsie native has come a long way. Here now is a portion of his stirring speech.
You see, when you're young, you're filled with so much hope. You believe that you can be anything in this world. I wanted to be the first black president when I was growing up. I was so proud. I was going to change the poor living conditions of everybody living in the projects. I was going to make a difference. But my first grade teacher destroyed that dream for me. Her name was Miss Powell. I remember her clearly. She was a gingerly black woman. She told me that I wasn't astute enough to be president. That was the first year I was held back a grade in school. I was held back twice in public school. And the only way that I made it out of junior high school was through social promotion, because they told me that I was too old to stay there another year. And after a year in high school, my guidance counselor told me that I should really consider taking some type of vocational training. And here I am now, the valedictorian. I hold no ill will towards Ms. Powell, because that was her perception of reality at the time. You know, she may have been a person like so many of us who've allowed our experiences to dilute our expectations, to make our current reality the basis upon which we judge not only our own futures, but the futures of those in whom we come in contact with. Many of us come from environments where it's a constant struggle to keep hope alive. Without positive reinforcement and positive role models leading us by example and showing us that it is possible to persevere and that we can fulfill our dreams. Without these affirmations and role models, many of us lose hope. With each disappointment, a little bit of hope dies inside of us. You see, I was one of those people that lost hope. My hope was wounded during my adolescent years, but it didn't die until I was 20 years old. I remember the day vividly. It happened at 2:36 a.m. on the morning of July 10th, 1994. This was the day that I made the worst decision of my life. As soon as the bullet left the gun, I knew that any hope I had of becoming someone that my family would be proud of was gone. That any hope that I had of making a difference in this world, of doing some good and achieving salvation, was gone. I not only destroyed my own hopes and dreams, but I robbed a man and his family of the chance of fulfilling their hopes and dreams as well. On this day, I became a man without hope. I was like the walking dead.
Now, Zaid Ali also spoke at length about turning his life around. When we come back, we'll have more of the valedictorian speech, so stay with us. Welcome back to RNN's special Sing Sing Education Behind Bars. Valedictorian Zaid Ali delivered a passionate speech on graduation day. He began by describing how he lost hope and committed a terrible crime. Now we pick up the speech where Ali explains how through education his life has meaning and his future has promise. Take a listen.
And 4 years later, I walked into a courtroom to be sentenced as a defeated man. I held my head down in shame. I couldn't even look at Leonard's family. I heard my own family call out to me in support, but I couldn't bear to look at them either. I had destroyed so much. 2 families were devastated, and it was all my fault. As I sat there, Leonard's father stepped forward to address the court, and I sat there waiting for him to lash out at me. I welcomed it because I deserved it. He had every right to be angry with me. I had taken something from him that I had no right in taking. I had taken something from him that I could never give back. But rather than lash out at me, he told me that he forgave me. Amen. He saw that I could go no lower than I was at that moment. Through his wisdom and experience eyes, he saw that I had lost all hope and that I was broken. He told me that he forgave me, but that I was indebted to him. He said that if any good was to come out of this situation, that it would have to come through me. To repay this debt of forgiveness, he said that I had to make a difference. He said that I had to stop other families from having to suffer through the type of pain that our families were suffering through. He said that I had to stop other young people from making the same poor decisions that I made. He told me that it was time for me to become a shepherd. I didn't understand at the time how or why he would forgive me, but in my heart I knew that I was going to honor this man's words. I made the decision that I was going to live not only for myself, but that I was going to live for Leonard. For this chance at redemption and for the restoration of my hope, I commenced to live in his declaration. I became an artisan for change and virtue. I began taking programs like victims awareness counseling and breaking barriers in order to work on my humanity, in order to become more in touch with my feelings. And as my empathy began to grow, I started taking on more teaching and facilitating positions. I began working with PACE, teaching HIV and AIDS counseling and education. I became a facilitator for the Alternatives to Violence program, and I took a job working with transitional services so that I could work with the men when they first come upstate and then again right before they're released. I created a support group for incarcerated men ages 21 and under in order to give them an alternative to the negative laws of prison, to show them through my words and actions that there still is hope. It is an indescribable feeling to see the young men in my group, 18, 19, 20 years old, starting to make positive choices, starting to take strides for the betterment of themselves and the betterment of their environment. I believe that I'm making a difference when I share my experiences with these young men. And I believe that I'm making a difference when I share my experiences with the young people from the surrounding communities that come inside of the prison with the Youth Awareness Program. Through this program, I'm able to catch a number of young people before they make that one bad decision that can destroy so many lives. As a member of the Youth Awareness Program, I'm able to keep hope alive. I owe a tremendous amount of my effectiveness to Hudson Link and their supporters. The courses that I've taken through Mercy College have given me the tools I needed to transform my experiences into a therapeutic model for change, a model that has proven effective in deterring delinquency in young people and has also given me an opportunity to begin repaying the debt that I've been charged with. Hudson Link has given so many men here hope. Hope that we can go home and live normal lives. Hope that we have a chance of actually leveling the playing field. These degrees have helped us to believe that we do not have to be just another statistic. We now have the tools to make a difference. We can make a difference not only when we go home, but right here in Sing Sing. They say that the climate in prison is hot. They say that the young people in our communities are bringing the waters of unrest to a boil. We have to decide if we are going to be the thermometers or the thermostats. With these degrees in our life experiences, my fellow graduates, we have the tools to change the climate in our environment. But we have to decide if we are going to be the thermometers or the thermostats. You see, the thermometers, they measure the temperature, but the thermostat's changing. Only we can make this decision. You see, hope has hands. Hands that can reach down and pick you up when you fall. See, hope has eyes. Eyes that can see opportunity and success when it's just beyond the horizon. Hope has ears. Ears that can hear opportunity knocking when the radio of disappointment is turned up loud. Hope has a voice that yells out, "You're better than this. You can beat this," when the clouds of doubt begin to form overhead. And hope also has a heart that pumps love when you feel lost and alone. Hope is definitely alive. Now, I know that my mother is going to disagree with me on this one, but I cannot remember ever doing anything to make you proud. I can understand being a parent why she would disagree, because we tend to take pride in the smallest accomplishment that our children make. We beam with pride when the baby goes poop in the toilet by itself. So I can understand how she would disagree. But that's not the type of accomplishment I'm talking about. I've never done anything that you can brag to your friends about. It hurts me to think of how you must feel when you're at the supermarket or the beauty parlor, or you're at church and the other parents start to brag about the accomplishments of their children. Oh, my Johnny did this, or my Sally did that. And you got to sit there and endure that because I've never given you anything of substance to use, that I've never done anything worth bragging about. This here is for you, Ma.